On this episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup, Bo Nix is on schedule, ready to go for OTAs, but we don't know who Bo's backup is going to be. That and lots of other topics starting, I don't know, right about now. And welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup. My name is Keith Brugman. I got two fantastic friends, along with everyone that's coming in the comments already. See your eyes out there. See you looking. But I got two fantastic friends with me to talk some Denver Broncos football on the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast tonight. I'll just start it off. I want to say hello to my friends. Trevor Salzman, how you doing? The Rocket Man.
Doing well, Keith. Excited to be here and excited to talk Broncos football. This is kind of like a little dead moment right now for Broncos because, you have the draft here, less than a month away. It's been quiet recently after the Jalen Waddle trade. So maybe the Broncos got something going on. Maybe they don't. We'll see. But excited to break it down. Excited to break down a couple scenarios that we have for everybody tonight. And hope everybody is doing well tonight and excited to be here with my 2 out of the 4 horsemen tonight.
Yeah, 3 of the 4.
3 of the 4. Well, 2 others, yeah.
No crickets over here, man. Jody, the judge, the OG, the guy that kicked it off on this channel to begin with, man. Welcome to the show, man. It seems like it's been forever since we podcasted because I took off a lot of time and then I jumped in for like 1 episode. But, man, good to see you, my friend.
Good to have you back. Good to talk Broncos on a Saturday night. Trevor said a little downtime right now, but we'll have a good show tonight, and we still got some good content. So hopefully everyone's ready for it.
I am ready for it, man. I'm ready for it. Trevor's ready for it. You're ready for it. I'm sure everyone else is ready for it as well. And speaking of everybody else, man, I just want to say, man, lots of options to go out there and listen to Denver Bronco content. We appreciate everybody that comes in here, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube or Apple Podcast or Spotify, while you're watching live, while you're listening after the fact. Just know that you're appreciated. We appreciate you a ton. We appreciate that you're tuned into us, and we appreciate you guys and gals so much that, well, heck, if you guys take over the comments, you guys have questions, you gals have questions, we get off topic really quick and kind of go the route that you guys want to go. Mandy's coming in here and saying, who's excited for the season? Let's go. Man, season cannot come fast enough in these times. I think Trevor and Jody, you're excited, man. You're ready for this season and ready for it to go. Trevor, I know you are as well, man. Like you said, both of you said, slow part of the season, man, but we got some great talking to do. And we got Vic coming in, doing the waddle in, man. Vic, good to see you over on YouTube, waddling in and being a part of the show, man. Be interesting to talk about some quarterbacks and talk about Waddle in context to that. That is one of our biggest or one of our topics, man. I think we'll jump right into it, gentlemen, if you don't mind, man. We've got news, and Jody, I'll go to you first on this because you're the one who said we should put this in our agenda. Bo Nix on schedule to be participating in OTAs. I'll reference this just a little bit. We talked recently, or we kind of chat in the background. I've been reading about Dre Greenlaw and his way too fast coming back from an injury. So I'm going to have you put that into context as well. Bo Nix is on schedule to be participating in OTAs. Do you have any worries or any concerns, though, at the same time with Dre Greenlaw that felt like maybe he rushed back a little bit too quickly and was exerted too much, and that complicated his debut for the Denver Broncos as it came in Week 7?
No, I'm not worried at all because they're two different types of injuries. One was a soft tissue for Greenlaw, and this is a broken ankle that once it heals, it's ready to go and 100%, and there's should be no effects with it. So I'm not worried in the slightest on Bo. Greenlaw's was totally different. Plus he re-injured it, in OTAs. I just sounded like he's lifting too much weight and stuff. So, yeah, I'm not at all worried with Nick. So,
so all good signs as far as you're concerned. Bo Nix ready to go on schedule to begin. Trevor, I'll just go over to you, man. Your thoughts when you heard the news? Obviously, it sounds like good news, but any concern at all?
No, I don't think there's any concern for me. I think if the Broncos would have had more concern too, I think you had seen them be maybe possibly bring in another quarterback into the quarterback room. I know they like Sam Ellinger, I get that, but it's like, we may see a little bit more action from the Broncos' perspective at quarterback. So, but
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh gosh, don't get me started on that. Geez, that's a worst April Fool's joke, by the way, that I've ever came across. There's no way that's happening. And Broncos brass just laughed at that when they seen that. No, I mean, there's no worries. I think with Bo, he's also young enough to come back from that injury, and he'll pretty close to 100%. I mean, it's hard telling, will he exactly be the same Bo Nix before that injury? We'll see. I think that's a question that isn't getting asked enough, but I think he'll be close to that, which is more than what Denver needs. And no, all the confidence in the world he'll be back, and they'll do everything they can to get him back as healthy as possible.
Since Vic brought it up, maybe just all the more reason to be bringing Waddle in, as he was waddling in, but to bring Waddle in because, more weapons, more outlets for Bo Nix might be the option, because I like Bo Nix and I like him running and I like him scrambling, and I think he's effective with his legs, and he's more effective than a Jaden Daniels who goes out there and puts himself in harm's way. I think Bo Nix takes care of himself. Kind of a freak injury in the way that he got injured this year. So, but at the same time, if you want to be protecting their, potential franchise quarterback, we all want them to kind of transition to be more that pocket type of passer and use his arm rather than his legs. And having weapons like Jalen Waddle is part of that equation, in my opinion. Part of the equation as well is our fantastic posse members. That's all of you in the comments and everybody coming in on YouTube, man. It's like we don't even exist on Facebook, though I know we're out there. Ernie Mays saying, hello, Keith and Trevor and Jody. Go Broncos, country only. Vic says, we dodged one with the Rodgers, and up with Russ. And up with Russ. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Back in the day, we dodged Rodgers, but ended right up with Russ, as everyone was thinking it was the Nathaniel Hackett, equation to bring in Aaron Rodgers, and of course, we all know how all of that. Why you got to go there, Vic? Vic, we're all excited for 2026. Don't be bringing up Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett in my mind. Oh my goodness, can't handle that. I guess I just want the best for Bo Nix in the end, though, gentlemen. I don't want any rush for him to come back, and I hope all the best, knock on wood, for him to continue to make the right strides and be on pace to come back and lead this team in Week 1. Vic's laughing at me now because of the throwbacks to the Nathaniel Hackett and Russ. Just bad memories. Go ahead, Jody.
I was going to add one thing. I think even if he is not 100%, I think this is where it will help Bo, because he will have to stay in the pocket and he will have to throw there. He's not going to be able to run, and they're probably not going to want him to run. till it is 100%, there's no point in. I mean, they can't tackle him anyways in camp and any of that. They're not supposed to. So him going out and running does nothing. So stay in the pocket and work on that and focus on that.
Mm.
So I think this could be a blessing in disguise. I mean, it sucked for when it happened and how it affected last year, but moving forward, maybe him focused more on being that pocket passer. I think that is the whoa. I think we're all in agreement. That's probably the one thing left that he needs to ace to be that top 5 quarterback.
Yeah. Eyes down the field, be willing to set his feet, be where he needs to be, at least for a few more moments. Seems like he gets happy at times. And Trevor, I think I'm not the only one who probably thinks that. Hopefully you agree with me. And I see Phil's in here too. One of our first Facebook comments as well. So I'll get to that in just a moment. So
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Keith. I ain't gonna add too much on that one. I will say I think I have no problem with Bo coming back, and I think the medical staff there in Denver. I mean, that's something that we have to remember. The Broncos have done a great job at building. And since Sean Payton's came into the building, so it's really something they've honed in on, and so I have no issues with Bo. I mean, I think he'll come back ready than ever. We've seen him walking. I mean, he's a lot of things have happened with Bo Nix. Obviously recently became a father, and seems to be walking around just fine. So, no concerns there with Bo. I think there's concerns in other places rather than your starting quarterback right now.
Fair enough. Oh, by the way, yes, congratulations, Bo Nix, on their child. Congratulations to Devon Key in his marriage. Congratulations to Zach Allen in his marriage. It's been a busy offseason for Denver Bronco players. So busy. Phil McLaughlin coming in here and saying, good evening, Keith, Rocket Man, and Judge. I read Bo had the injury in college, ? Can it become a future problem? This is one of the things that did come up kind of early. I think we did address it at one point, that this is not the first time of him being injured in his foot ankle area. I don't know if it's the exact same one. I don't know if you guys recall, but any concern that this is not the first time we've heard of an injury like this for for Bo Nix? I'll go to Jody. Like Coach said, is he maybe had a predisposition for an injury like this?
No, because like you just asked, I never did hear what. I mean, you could probably go back and if you watched tapes or whatever, but I never heard if it's the same ankle or not. And then I think this is kind of the evolution that Bo's going to have to take to. I think he's in that top 10 fringe quarterback right now, but if he wants to take that next leap, he's got to be able to stand in the pocket and make consistent throws, and I think this maybe will force him for a little bit to do that and work on some things.
Yeah, it'll be. I think it's a two-part question, though. Or a two-part answer as far as that's concerned. Yeah, I have the targets. We'll see if the targets are there, and everyone's helping to contribute to that. Any concern, Trevor, for you that there's a predisposition for something like this? That this is a potential college injury and now NFL injury?
Well, I think he had an injury like that in high school as well, I believe. So, I mean, there is some sort of history there. I will say, again, you got to be able to bring in a good backup quarterback. I know Sean Payton has a lot of confidence in Jarrett Stidham, and I get that. But this is why there needs to be competition in that backup quarterback room. And Sean Payton has said, I think it's also clear, it's like Sean Payton's not necessarily came out and said, oh, Jarrett Stidham is the backup right now. I mean, I know we'll get to that in a minute, but it's like, it's interesting to me that there's competition in that quarterback room. What does that mean? Does that mean Sam Ehlinger? Does that mean they bring in somebody else closer to training camp? Do they draft somebody and try to develop them? So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But I think for me, I think for me it's going to be something to monitor going forward, certainly. And I know some people are not worried about that, but I think for me, you got to, as he ages out, you got to be more concerned about that. Bo's got to be smart as well with his ankle, knowing that, hey, that's a possible concern. That's something that's happened in the past. I know injuries, he doesn't like to talk about that a lot. Sean Payton don't like to talk about that a lot. Certainly seemed like he didn't mind when it came to Bo Nix's injury history. Kind of seemed like he kind of went out of his way to talk about it a little bit too much, probably. But it's something to monitor. I wouldn't put too much thought into it right now, just because Bo's 25. I mean, but as he gets older, something to definitely keep in mind.
Yeah, you can see I put up the bar right there. Sorry, I was going to go ahead and move myself into position if I could, but now there we go. Trying to play around with new formats. I put Trevor on the spot. He was like, uh-oh, what happened? But trying to mess around with some new formats. Vic comes in on YouTube. He says he's a little bit concerned. And I think that's the right way to be, a little bit concerned. You can't be coming in thinking thinking the world about your team when your quarterback got injured and he's coming back from injury and you haven't seen him perform as of yet, in my opinion. So, you got to have a little bit of concern as well. I wanted to get over to our first topic, though, at the top of the screen. We kind of got.
Can I add something on that real quick?
Yeah, feel free, my friend.
The injury was on a designed run, and I think that is something to monitor. I mean, if you watch Bo, name one big shot he's taken when he's actually scrambled and ran the ball. Bo was very smart about. I mean, and you even hear it on broadcast. He gets down a little early sometimes. I mean, he's done it multiple times where it's 2nd and 10 and he runs for 9 when he could get the first. And so Bo knows and he's smart about that. This was on a designed run. And I think if they get a running back, if RJ Harvey can develop, if Dobbins stays healthy, you don't need the design runs from Bo. You can use a running back. They just were at a position in Buffalo that they didn't have a running back that they trusted, and he had to run the football. So that's why I'm not worried about it, because it was on a designed run where when Bo's elusive and he's scrambling, it's because he sees something open up, and then he's smart about getting to the ground.
Fair enough. Yeah, kind of end up being more of like a pile-up situation and a design run, not probably really what you would normally see from a typical Bo Nix scramble. I brought up this topic of QB number 2 that you see at the top corner of the screen, and brought up this graphic, and it seemed like all of a sudden, man, the posse came alive. They came flying in from Facebook. They came flying in from YouTube. So I'm going to hit a few different comments. We'll start getting to some of this as well. Boy, I don't even know where to start. I'm going to start with the first one, I guess. Awesome podcast, as Ernie May is coming in on YouTube. Thank you, Ernie. But Phil came in and he says, do you think that do you think Webb has a better knowledge of what Stidham can do than Payton does? The quarterback 2, gentlemen, is now under question. It's now under open competition. We can get to Davis Webb and his knowledge as well in this. I do have questions about that, because I think to a certain point, the unfortunate thing for a backup quarterback is it's good until you have to prove your worth. And then once you got to go out there and prove your worth, then all of a sudden your position can come into question. That's what has happened now in Denver. But the question from Phil is, and I'll go to Trevor first on this one, do you think with Davis Webb now at the helm, him having a better knowledge possibly of how to utilize Stidham, will that give him a better opportunity to win that battle? What say you, Trevor?
I don't think so, because I think Stidham's a Sean Payton guy. I mean, the big reason why Jarrett Stidham even came to Denver in the first place was Sean Payton. And so I don't think so. I think Jarrett Stidham is kind of what he is at this point. And I know we were all hoping, oh yeah, you're going to see, Jarrett Stidham, maybe he's a starting quarterback. Maybe he can boost his value if he can, win an AFC championship game for the Broncos and step up big and play in the Super Bowl and this and that. But Jarrett Stidham is what he is. And that's what I'm saying. It wasn't good enough. We can say, well, yeah, if he didn't turn the football over, then the Broncos would have won that game. Well, okay, that's a fair argument, but it's like, but that's what Jarrett Stidham is. This is why you have quarterback competition now. Sean Payton used that word, quarterback competition, for a reason. No one should be given the keys to the backup quarterback position right now. And I even think they should add to the quarterback room. I'll go on a little bit of a verge here and say that like they need to add to that quarterback room. Sam Ehlinger and Jarrett Stidham aren't good enough right now. They weren't good enough. Jarrett Stidham wasn't good enough for the Broncos to even win a Super Bowl, let alone get to one. So it's like, yeah, I don't see Davis Webb changing that, unfortunately. But we'll be interested to see what that quarterback room possibly looks like. When Sean Payton says competition, what does that mean?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. I don't know if it necessarily gives them an upper hand, Phil, but great question. We'll see. I mean, if anything, it might be the time with Webb and Stidham together. There is a familiarity, obviously, within the pretext of the offense that Sam Ehlinger might not have. Jody, you're going to get a complete different question. This one's coming in.
Can I add to that real quick? I think the main reason that there's
really quick, man.
I think the main reason that there's a competition is he hyped Stidham up so much for that AFC title game, and Stidham didn't play well. And mainly for me, it was the way he played in the pocket. I mean, he was drifting back on every throw, and that was stuff that we talked about. He probably will stand in the pocket and maybe be a little more efficient than Nix is, and that was the exact opposite. I think for me, that is the big reason.
Didn't play like we expected him to. Keith wants to know, though, Keith Stober coming in on Facebook. He says, good evening, friends. Do you think the backup quarterback needs to be similar to Bo Nix or an opposite with our offense? Would you like to see somebody that's more on par with how Bo Nix performs on the field, or do we need to have somebody that can throw a curveball as well, especially maybe in a backup situation? Maybe it'd be a little bit tougher to prepare for, I guess, would be the answer on that part of it. But your answer, Jody, I want your thoughts.
No, because I mean,
or which way would you go? Which way would you go? Bo Nix like or something opposite?
I'm good either way, and I'm not on the fence with that. But I mean, Bo is such a unique how he throws off balance and makes these type of throws. To find someone like that out there is going to be hard, in my opinion. Plus, this offense is set up. I mean, Drew Brees was a stand in the pocket, and he didn't move. So it's set up for that. Bo just has elusive skills where when he sees something open, he can run and he can throw off balance. And so if there's another player out there like that, you're probably not getting him as a backup. He's probably getting drafted to go start for someone. So I don't really necessarily need another player like Bo, because the offense, to be honest, was set up for Drew Brees, and he was a statue back there and made it work. So
it'd be interesting to see how much or if it changes under more of a Davis Webb led offense as well. Obviously, like you said, the fingerprints of Sean Payton has been on this offense and what he did in New Orleans with the Saints for now quite a while. If does that change, does it have a different feel? Like you said, does this be in prior episodes, Jody, does this become more of a air raid offense?
And that's what I've heard, more air raid, less of the screens, less of that stuff. And I think bringing in Waddle now even tells you a little bit more that it's going that way. Waddle is a deep threat. So that's two guys that you have in your room of 6 or 7, Waddle and Mims, that are deep threats. That's why I think it's going that way.
Trevor, Martin's coming in here. He says, we have short memories. So the last we saw, Stiddy cost us big, but after the preseason, when he played well, he balled out. He reminded us that he's a very good backup quarterback. Trevor, which one is it? Is he the guy that blows a big game, or is he a very good backup quarterback? How do you feel about him and his competition as he rides into this offseason?
Well, the Broncos are paying him like he's a very good backup quarterback, $8 million cap hit this year. But I mean, that's against backups. I mean, I've soured on Stidham quite a bit in the AFC since I've seen that AFC Championship game. It was bad. That was bad all the way around. I mean, and not just being honest about it. I mean, for me, I guess I know Sean Payton. I think he's drafted one quarterback in the well, two quarterbacks, Ian Book and I have the other guy's name as well. Give me a minute. Sean Canfield in 2010. The two guys that he drafted completely in the draft. And Canfield was obviously backed up Drew Brees, so that's what I was getting at. Like, I think they need to look into the draft for a backup quarterback. I would look for a quarterback with some upside to push some competition in this quarterback room. It's just Jared Stidham just being the guy every year. It costed you? Let's be honest, it costed you. And I would like a quarterback with a little bit more mobility. I'm not going to lie. If you can get those traits like what Bo Nix has to be your backup quarterback, I like that because that's similar skill set. And ideally for me, that's what I want. I want a quarterback that is very mobile. And so I do have a guy later on that I can talk about. That fits that mold. I just think he might go a little earlier. But the Broncos also have like 3 7th-round picks. Why not take a chance on a young quarterback and try to develop him in your quarterback room? And at the very least, okay, both guys, Bo Nix and that young guy, aren't going to play. So you trade the young guy and you keep Bo and you pay him long term. And you get what, 4th-round pick, a little bit more value out of that guy you took in the 7th round. So it's just something that I would think about from the Broncos, at least taking a chance on some sort of quarterback in the 7th round. Doesn't need to be high pick, of course, but just a quarterback with more upside for me. That's what I want. One more competition in that way.
Well, that is going to start me off with a rapid fire.
Can I add one thing real quick? Everyone that said that he played bad, and he did, that touchdown or close to a touchdown, I am not going to put all on Stidham because Tyler Bidet did run the wrong route, and we talked about that. So he needs to take a lot of credit for that one play.
Okay. One play. Yeah.
But I mean, that was a game-changing play because if that doesn't happen and he just takes a sack there, you probably win the football game.
Yeah, I get that, brother. I get that, brother. One play though, man. I can't. It's like the field goal kick, like they say. You can miss a field goal kick, and they're like, "Hey, it can't come down to one play." I would have liked to seen more from Stidham than what he put on the field, through and through, and I think we can all agree to that.
All the things we talked about just didn't happen that game.
It did not happen. Backpedaling, like you said, I think it's much more. I'm going to go to Trevor. This one, it's coming in on the comments, and you were talking about going out there, maybe getting that 7th-round pick, going out there and getting something, different, young, dynamic, something you can put your maybe invest into. So rapid fire, first one goes to you, Anthony Richardson. Go in a different direction, not going in the draft, going out there and seeing what's available. What say you to maybe Anthony Richardson being added in, since we were talking about adding in another candidate here?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yes. Yes, but also because real quick, Keith, Sean Payton took a chance on Zach Wilson. They got Zach Wilson, former 1st-round pick, Anthony Richardson, former 1st-round pick with some upside. Yes. If Colts release him, not trading for him, Colts got to release him.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I'm not giving up picks to get him.
I give up one of our 7th rounders.
Yeah, I was going to say 7th rounder. Yeah, 7th
just to secure him. Okay, very good. Jody, I'll start with this one. This one comes in from Vic. Thanks, by the way. That was Brandon that came in on Anthony Richardson. Vic comes in. He says, I would take Mariota over Stiddy. Marcus Mariota, how do you feel he stacks up in this competition room if he was brought in? And would you sign off on something like that? Judge? Be a judge?
Yes, but again, you're going to have to trade for him. So,
Trevor, Mariota better than Stiddy? Let's rewind this. If Jarrett Stidham and Marcus Mariota last year, would you have now in hindsight, would you have felt better with Marcus Mariota at the helm in that AFC Championship game?
Yes, slightly.
Yes, slightly. Very good. Well, I guess that answers Vic's question then, or goes and coalesces with his comment there that he would take Mariota over Stiddy, but just slightly.
Can I throw out one more name real quick? You guys already mentioned him, Zach Wilson. Would you consider that again?
No.
I think that they kept the wrong guy.
No.
I would have kept Zach Wilson over Stiddy, but that was just me personally.
Ooh, hot take, Jody, on a Saturday night. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's tough to say because he really hasn't. We haven't seen much more from him since he was in Denver. Though he did get another contract. I forget who he signed with. Does anybody remember
Oh,
off
I
the top
did
of his head?
see the Saints, I think.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So,
Yeah. But
gotta
but
say,
Zach Wilson.
I wanted to say
Sorry.
one other thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Say hello to Graham. Hi, Graham. Good to see you over on YouTube, buddy. Go ahead, my friend.
No, I was just gonna say the reason I say no to Zach Wilson, he couldn't even beat out Quinn Ewers in Miami. He had a shot. I'm sorry. I'm out on Zach Wilson. I think they actually made the right call by not keeping Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson over our third string guy. I
Sam
can't think of his
Ellinger?
name. Sam Ellinger.
Oh, slightly, but it's still scary. Still scary.
It's a toss up with Wilson, says Vic. Yeah. I wouldn't I'm not going after Zach Wilson. I'm just putting it that way. I'm not like, he's not the guy that I thought got away in free agency. So I gotta do some homework, gentlemen, on a lot of different things. One of them is our sponsor, though. We do have an amazing sponsor who is Morgan Trinkets, and they've been doing Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold at wholesale prices. They do shows all around northern Denver, sometimes southern Colorado, or northern Denver, northern Colorado, sometimes southern Wyoming as well. And they've just set up a Spotify store so if you guys go out there and you're looking for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold, I ask that you look for Morgan Trinkets. I'm going to get the exact link and everything like that as well. I'm going to get her show scheduled because Pearl should have some shows scheduled here shortly. That's a lot of S's and sh's. But she will get those out. I will get those out, and then you'll be able to check out everything. I want you guys to check them out if you're interested in silver because, my goodness, she has some of the best prices on silver right now. So if you're interested in silver, check out Morgan Trinkets. They're over on Spotify. I promise I'll get you the link. You might have to check it in the comments after the episode. We appreciate you so much. Trevor, Jody, I don't know which way we want to go next. Which way do you guys want to go next on our little agenda list that we have? And Jody, I'll let you even take the helm. How's that, man? Do you have a preference?
No, you can pick. I'm good with whatever.
Jody doesn't want to be put on the spot on a Saturday night.
Real quickly, though, before we even move forward, I will say I do have Jared Stidham's dead cap hit, so they can actually save about $4.5 million moving off of Jared Stidham. He's making $8 million total cap hit right now, but $3.5 million dead cap hit, so you save $4.5 million if you cut him. So that's just something to keep in mind when we're talking about quarterbacks. I don't know if Stidham's safe, to be honest.
How much of a say does Bo Nix have in this, do you think? With him, Stidham says they're best friends, and I don't you know that he plays a role in the meetings and different things.
For me, not much. I mean, I know they're best friends, but this is a business at the end of the day. You got to be able to get on board with what your Broncos brass wants to do. And I mean, they were friends with Zach Wilson too, and they moved off of him. So,
all right,
Trevor, I'm going to keep you on screen because now you're being put on the spot, and you kind of like slid it in there all slyly. He's like, "Oh, I like a guy. Maybe I'll be able to talk about him later." And Ernie's like, I can't wait." So he's like, "Who's the quarterback that Trevor wants in the draft, man? The guy that you were looking at. You said you wanted to talk about him. You're talking kind of later round pick, if I remember correctly. Hope that he's there for the Denver Broncos. Who do you see? What round? Why do you like him?"
For me, it's Taylor Green, the quarterback out of Arkansas. I'm starting to like this guy more and more as a project for a team. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a team like the Rams try to pick him up. I would say early is probably – I think he can probably go 5th round. I don't think he makes it to the 7th round, though. So if you're going to make a move to get up and get this guy, I think 5th round, 6th round at the latest he'll go. But I don't think he'll be there in the 7th round. But 6'6", 227 pounds. I mean, he's got a heck of an arm and very mobile. And so – just that quarterback size alone is a lot, and there's upside with this guy. If you pair him with a young, with the offensive mind, like a McVay or a Shanahan or like even like a Payton, I mean, let him sit for a couple of years and see what you got. But if you're talking about Anthony Richardson, this is Anthony Richardson 2.0. You're just getting him on a rookie contract. So that's the kind of guy that I like. And that's why I say like maybe Drew Allard later on in the draft. Depends on when one of these guys fall. But I would certainly be looking at quarterback later in the draft because your quarterback room, other than Bo Nix, should not be secure. And I just read Jarrett Stidham's dead cap hit for a reason and what they could save. So Sam Ehlinger, again, practice squad last year. So nobody other than Bo Nix should be safe in that quarterback room. Oh. Yes. Jody, your opinion on that? Because I think we lost Keith for a minute. I don't know if.
Yeah, I like him. Like you said, 6'6". He's a big guy and he's mobile.
Mm-hmm.
So he can kind of do some of that off-script stuff that Bo Nix can. And I'm really in favor of, like you said, I don't think Stidham's the only way for me Stidham's job is safe is if Bo Nix goes in there and says, "That's the guy I want in the QB room, and that's the guy that makes me feel comfortable, and I have a rapport, and I get my best out of this when we're in meetings and stuff with Stidham." Other than that, there's no reason to be paying that kind of money for a quarterback that. And granted, he hadn't played starter for 2 years, but stuff that we thought he was going to do as well or probably better than Nix in the pocket was we were 100% wrong.
Well, and I want to add one thing really quickly is like McVay, he had Jimmy Garoppolo behind Stafford. Shanahan, he has Mac Jones now in San Francisco, but he also had Sam Darnold there. So these offensive minds, bright offensive minds in football in the NFL, they value the backup quarterback position. That's what I'm saying. I value the backup quarterback position. And it should be valued. You never know when your starter is going to go down. The next man up kind of mindset, and so I think you got to have value. It's just when you take advantage of quarterbacks having a down year like San Francisco did with Mac Jones. Took advantage of Mac Jones having a down year and being down in New England with the Patriots, and they got him. And then same thing with Sam Darnold after he left Carolina. So you got to take advantage of when these guys are their down years and possibly get them. If you can get them in your quarterback room, see what you have there in case of an injury happens. So some of the best offensive minds in football, I guess what I'm trying to say is they value the backup quarterback position. And it's clear.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Backup quarterbacks, as we've kind of seen in the comments, they are important. They're important, sometimes when your QB needs to get healthy in the regular season. As Martin was saying, you shouldn't rely on them as your savior in the postseason. That's kind of more of a rarity. And I think that's rightfully said. But at the same time, we're starting to see more and more where these experiments maybe or these decisions gone wrong or maybe just bad fits at the top of the draft get second chances. They come into opportune situations and sometimes make the best of it and get themselves, a starting position down the road. Is that Sam Ehlinger? I don't know if Sam Ehlinger is playing himself in there. I think Jarrett Stidham has kind of seen his opportunity or his opportunity kind of open and close for something like that. For the most part. So it'll be interesting to see what the Denver Broncos do as far as that quarterback position is concerned and in what other competition they bring in, if any. So
can I throw out another name? Sean Payton mentioned this, that they spoke with him on Waddle. How do you guys feel on Teddy Bridgewater?
He's back in Detroit, isn't he?
I think he.
I don't know if he went back or not. Sean Payton, I mean, he went out of his way to say that they talked to Nick Saban and Teddy Bridgewater on Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. I'm going to switch the topic up. I'm going to keep Jody on the screen right here, and it's the next one, number 3 on the list there. I labeled it unsaintly. A report is by the Sporting News that the Denver Broncos were set to sign, ready to go. Thought they had him in the bag, one Travis Etienne, until the Saints came in, put an offer out there, and as we know, Travis Etienne was going to sign with the Saints, probably regardless of the offer once they got involved. To that point, though, I know that you've been a big proponent of J.K. Dobbins. What does this mean as far as J.K. Dobbins' real footing when you were ready to bring in a guy like Travis Etienne, as reported by Sporting News? Do put faith in that report, and what does it mean in your opinion to that running back room and the faith in it?
I'm not really sure what to believe, only because both Payton said that Dobbins was their first priority, and it wasn't really close. And I mean, George Payton at the GM meetings went out of his way to say how much he meant to this room and what spark he brought when he came here, and how he was a top 4 rusher before he got hurt, and it was an injury that was basically a fluke, and it wasn't, something that he caused. So I don't know how much to put into that. And like you said, once the Saints got in it, you were going to have to massively, massively overpay, because he said he wanted to go back home, and that was home. So
agree there. I agree.
I just don't. I don't know. I mean, they signed Dobbins pretty quick, and they paid Dobbins more than they paid him last year for coming off another injury season. So I have a feeling, I mean, they didn't let that play out, because you could have let Dobbins, you could have went after other guys, and they didn't. So in my opinion, Dobbins, if I was going to guess, Dobbins was the guy as quick as they signed him when there was no need to.
I gotta say, man, it's really easy to say this is my guy and that he was a priority after the fact and after it's all played out. I can't put credit in there. I'm more on board with what TW is saying here. They've been lying through their teeth this whole offseason. He did it the year that he got Bo Nix. Why wouldn't he be doing it this year as well? For me, I think it talks a little bit about the faith that maybe the Denver Broncos have in this running back room. Yeah, you're going to go out there and you're going to re-sign your guy second. I'm not saying that J.K. Dobbins wasn't number 2 on their list, but I'm not going to go out there and pretend that he was our number 1, especially with the report from the Sporting News. Trevor, do you have any thoughts on this, man? I got you on the big screen now, so you're going to have to look up. I know you're always over there like Adam Schefter, checking all the news and notes of what's going on. Your thoughts on this, man? How does this shake up or influence your opinion on the running back room?
Yeah, I was just looking because I didn't see that article either, but I just did now. But I mean, I think there was definitely interest in ETN. The thing is, just Broncos brass wasn't very high in this free agent class, and you could tell. I mean, and it makes me wonder, like, was ETN their 1A, and then Waddle was their 1B, and they pivoted to Waddle? I mean, you had Waddle and Dobbins in itself, but I don't think they're willing to pay what the Saints are willing to pay. I really don't. I think they believe in RJ Harvey, I think, enough to where, hey, we will pay a certain price for you, but we're not going to overpay because we just took RJ Harvey last year in the second round. Like, what would that be telling RJ Harvey if you sign Travis Etienne to a big contract? So I think they were into ETN to a point, but I think once the price got too high, I think that they were out, and I think they were going to pivot to Dobbins right after that. And so, like, they were shocked that the Saints were coming in. I don't know about shocked. I think they believed they had a chance, and maybe a little bit surprised of the money. But I think if the Broncos would have wanted ETN enough, they certainly had enough money where they could have even pushed the offer higher. I mean, they could have definitely offered something higher than the Saints, and but they weren't going to do that. So I think they like what they have in RJ Harvey enough, and they believe in him enough. I mean, George Payton's talked about him being a 3-down back. I mean, multiple times. Yeah, you can say, well, yeah, I believe, he's going to say that, of course, to the media, but I think they truly believe that. And I think they believe in J.K. Dobbins enough. And I think if they can get a better year out of RJ Harvey this next season, then you have something there. And I think RJ Harvey, I think they're right. RJ Harvey did show something and some sort of life towards the end of the season. Postseason, he was bad, but the whole, the Broncos running game was just bad in general. So, no, I don't buy that report 100% though.
Very good.
Can I ask a question? A healthy Dobbins and a healthy ETN, is there a major difference?
Major difference.
I mean, I understand the health, but I think Dobbins healthy is better than ETN, in my opinion.
For a game, for a year, for
Well, for 10 games, I guess.
For 10 games.
But I've already said I think Dobbins will play 15 or more games this year, for what that's worth.
I know that's your hot take. It's been your hot take like all off season, I feel. Honestly, probably fairly equal. Like you said, I do like the way that J.K. Dobbins does perform. How could you not like the way he performed while he was with the Denver Broncos? Can you expect that much more from a ETN? It's tough to expect a lot more. He had very impressive numbers. Trevor, different take, same take?
I mean, I think ETN gives you more consistency, I will say, but I think Dobbins, if he can be RJ Harvey's going to have to be the 1A to this team. That's just what it comes down to. That's a second round pick. You didn't draft RJ Harvey for him to be your backup running back and completely split carries. So if the less you can use J.K. Dobbins, I think the better off you'll be. I'll say that. So he can stay healthy and stay on the field. But I think ETN's just more consistent because he can stay on the field. That's the biggest difference. But I think RJ Harvey, from a dual role standpoint, he's probably better with RJ Harvey than I think Travis Etienne.
It'll be the question. I think that it'll continue through the offseason now. What we do at running back, I still feels like there's a piece to be added at some point, whether it be late in the draft, whether it be cut after camp, whether it be something like that. It just feels like there's room for one more. I wanted to say hello to Kenny Kirkpatrick. He's been in here for a while and saying hello to everybody, and he said hello to Phil as well, and he's on Facebook, and he was lonely to begin with, but now we've been rocking. So, Kenny, good to see you, my friend, and the fourth horseman, so I couldn't go without saying hello to Kenny. Like I said, I think it'll be interesting to see what we do at running back. Go ahead.
How do you guys feel about this? I heard that they kept him out of the AFC title game because they knew that they were going to bring him back or considering it strongly, and they didn't want to rush him back, not 100%, and they didn't want him to get hurt. They knew they were already going to bring him back. I don't know how you feel. I don't know if you believe that report. So they were looking long term.
I mean, I think they try to look out for the player, but I don't think. I mean, there's no guarantee they were ever going to re-sign him, because if that was the case, they would have signed him before free agency even started. But I think they're trying to do what's best for the player and best for the team. Both. You got to try to balance that. So I don't think he was just ready in general, and I don't think they were going to put him out there on the field and risk him hurting himself even more.
Yeah, I guess they don't want two Dre Greenlaws. No, I mean, to be all honest, does that play into the minds when you're like already had Dre Greenlaw, who's been fighting to get back onto the field, another offseason free agent signing that you brought in that you wanted to be a major piece to your team, and you see that maybe not playing out the best? Does that, he's right alongside Dre Greenlaw rehabbing basically at the same time. I think it could have played into the mindset of, hey, let's keep it slow on this guy. We kind of like him. We certainly wouldn't want to injure him when we kind of like him and want to maybe keep him as a magnet that floats on back onto the board for the Denver Broncos and this team. I could see it. And now it would have to still be like up in the air in my mind, though. You're going for an AFC championship, so I'm not going to give up on that. Jody, I want to put you on the clock first. Hopefully you're ready for this, man. I've been thinking about this because the Denver Broncos have, had a little bit of money to play with. They talked about right in the I could put myself on screen for 2 more seconds. They talked down at the owners' meetings that they're looking at potentially trading up in this draft. A lot of pieces and parts and components still available. So the question is, if you had to pick one addition to add to this roster at this moment that you could think that you could add, who would it be? Do you have a guy out there that you would still want to add to this roster? You have a little bit of money to spend, just one pick.
You're talking in free agency?
Yeah, probably free agency. I mean,
Uh,
the draft is up in the air, right? We would love to add a lot of people in the draft, but free agency is a place that we can go out there. We can or trade if you wanted to trade it for a guy right now. That would be a potential as well right now.
Cam Jordan for me would be the guy, and the longer he sits up there, I think the cheaper you can get him. And I think he can come in and maybe not as much, but close. You may even have better production than John Franklin Myers in that role right there. So for me, Cam Jordan.
What does Cam Jordan bring that John Franklin Myers doesn't, especially since you said he could probably outperform him?
More production is at sacks. I mean, Cam Jordan had 10.5 last year. John Franklin Myers on a team that's blitz happy and goes after the quarterback had 6, 7.
Very good. Very good.
That would be the big thing for me.
Like the sack production, especially from the middle position. Trevor, you only can pick one. Posse, get involved. By the way, TW on YouTube has been kind of having a conversation in there over on YouTube. Appreciate you, TW, for being in there. Brought up the comment that bring in Calais Campbell. You're talking, Jody. I don't know if they were typing, you were talking, they were typing, how it all ended up coming about, but they're completely on board. Trevor, what say you, man? Who's the one piece that you would potentially bring into the Denver Broncos, make that run past the AFC Championship?
Yeah, I certainly like TW's comment of Calais Campbell, and he was one of my guys still on the board, still available. We had our wish list free agent, our wish list free agent list we had a couple weeks back before free agency started. But I'm going to go a different direction. I'll throw a different name out there. DJ Reader. I like DJ Reader quite a bit. I think you can get him pretty cheap as well. He didn't have the greatest year last year, but I think he's one of those okay, he's a proven veteran in the league. You lost something with JFM. This probably, Wazirike pushes him a little bit inside. You get your big nose tackle. You get a guy inside, and this is probably after the draft kind of signing it, because I don't think the Broncos sign anybody before the draft. I think they're going to wait till after the draft to really possibly bring in some more pieces. So this would be in case scenario where Broncos weren't able to draft a nose tackle or a big defensive lineman up front, and you addressing another need. So I like DJ Reader on a smaller deal, 1-year deal, cheap deal, kind of prove it deal with some incentives in there. Bring somebody to stop the run, most importantly for me.
Yeah, I'm a DJ Reader fan, so you don't have to sell me too much on your pick. I'll be honest, Trevor. Love it. Love the pick of DJ Reader.
I knew that was Keith's guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if Trevor knew it, but he is my guy, and I would like you said, Trevor. I think it's a great opportunity both from a value perspective as well as possibly a production perspective, especially when it comes to the run. Might not pile up the sacks like Cam Jordan, like Jody was talking about at the same time. Kenny, the fourth horseman, though, is coming in. Jody, I'm going to go to you on kind of a rapid fire on this one. Von Miller, especially if you're serious about Ellis playing inside linebacker. Jody, is this the perfect opportunity? Did this line up perfectly to bring in a Von Miller on a 1-year deal?
As much as I love Vaughn, I'm going to say no, because I think this move basically is all about Q Robinson and what they've seen in the postseason. They want Q Robinson to get more snaps.
Yep.
Then I guess I go to Trevor and just say, Trevor, are you just on a level of shocked? How shocked would you be if Von Miller did come to the Denver Broncos now at this point?
I mean, shocked when Vaughn says, "Oh, I'll do anything to go back to Denver." Okay, 1-year deal, minimum contract. We'll see what you got in training camp. That's what I'd say. That's exactly what I'd say. So, no, I think Jody's right in line. I think they want to see what Q Robinson can do, and we'll see exactly what Jonah Ellis can do. I don't think they're gonna he's just gonna completely transition over to linebacker, because you got to be careful. They try to do this with Drew Sanders. And look where that's turned out. I know the injuries, I get that, but they can't keep him at a certain position. And so yes, you can move guys around, but you got to be careful at that same time. You can't move guys around constantly. They've got to be able to learn the position and be able to play that at a high level at the same time. Stick and pick that guy and leave him there. So we'll see. I'm not buying Jonah Ellis getting a lot of snaps right now inside linebacker. I know Sean Payton brought it up, I think, in certain packages possibly, but I think the hope is still got to get somebody else in that inside linebacker room, and so we'll see what Jonah Ellis can do. I'm not huge on him being inside linebacker right now. I think that they'll throw in some packages, but that's probably about it right now. We'll have to see how he does in training camp and whatnot.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I've waited long enough, and I appreciate everyone that's coming in. By the way, Kenny's in here talking, but I wanted to get to Rodney Garcia. He said,
Keith, do you want Von Miller back?
Oh, no, I don't think so, man. I'll pass on Von Miller. I don't think he adds anything to this room at this point. I think you want to keep with your young roster that we keep talking about and build that, progress it, build something for the future. You have to be really careful about, I think, the veterans you bring in at this point and how you displace guys that are on the up and coming. And so, unfortunately, I'm like with you, Jody. I'd love to, but no. Rodney's got done watching Five Nights at Freddy 2, but he's all in on Cam Jordan as well. Scary movies are for you, Rodney, not for me, but that's not because I get too scared. So mine.
Are you a rom-com guy?
You nailed it, man. You nailed it. Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming out soon. Uh-oh. Lost my camera. It's okay. It'll be right back. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm sorry about this, guys.
His face was turning red. That's why he went off camera.
Yeah. The camera did you a favor, Keith.
Yeah, I guess. I'm still not back. What the heck is going on? Trevor, why don't you go ahead and take over? I can do this. I can probably remove.
Yeah. No, I'll take over for a minute. Kenny, I want to get to Kenny's question really quick because he did, or comment, I should say, really quick. He said, I'm sorry, I have to respectfully disagree. Fifth round pick or future Hall of Famer, legendary Bronco. Guy still had 10 sacks last year. So, Jody, your quick thoughts on that, and I am cut off the screen.
That's okay.
Well,
I'll get all arranged, man. So.
I think that's the main reason. And didn't Von Miller say he still wanted paid like a top pass rusher? Or he said something about that. So that would be the main reason for me. And the difference between Vaughn and Cam Jordan is you're 6 deep at edge rusher. You got your 2 starters, you're 5 or 6 deep there, where you're not as deep where Cam Jordan is and you just lost a starter. That's the big difference for me.
Well, and Q Robinson's the 4th round pick. So, I mean, I just think that they believe in him more than what people think. I think his athletic ability on special teams, that's what they loved, but he's really started coming on a little bit more, and they want to try to get these guys on the field as much as possible. I really think they believe in that young edge rusher room, and so we'll see. But more opportunities for these guys to get on the field. And I think that's also the perspective and the whole point of Jonah Ellis also moving into inside linebacker gives him more of a chance to be on the field.
And I just think they liked what they seen in the postseason from Q Robinson. That's, for me, the main reason, especially in the Patriots game.
I agree. I think that it's an investment in the future. I want to talk about an investment in the future. I also want to say that I don't think it's technical difficulties. I think it's basically me getting about ready to throw a temper tantrum because no one wants to hear about who I want to add to this roster. My one pick. Everyone keeps talking about everything. No, I'm just kidding.
The floor is yours.
The floor is mine. Sure. Now,
so is the camera.
It's all built up. It better be good now. Yeah. Hopefully the camera holds out. Thanks for everyone who's bared with my camera issues as we've been live. I'm buying into the hype, gentlemen. And I don't know if you heard some of the stories that have been circulating, and I don't know, hopefully Jody can't strangle me on camera. I'm all in on Kyle Pitts. Trade for Kyle Pitts. We just got done talking about the weapons for this team, keeping Bo Nix in the pocket early in this podcast, allowing this team to progress past the AFC Championship and continuing to be a young team, being careful of the veterans you bring in, but continuing to be a young team with a guy like Kyle Pitts. So my thought is go out there and trade for Kyle Pitts. They're saying it's a day 2 pick, possibly a day 2 pick and a player. I'm sure we can round it.
Didn't they tag Pitts?
Yeah. 16
So you got to
million.
give up 2 ones, don't you, to get Pitts?
Is he under a tag?
Yeah, franchise tag. 16
They
million.
tagged him.
Well, then there goes my pick. That's the end of the episode, gentlemen. See, built it all up for that. Built it all up for that. Boy. Oh, there it goes again.
The camera and his pick.
My goodness. Well, I guess that ends up that. Did the Falcons just extend? Yes. They just Rodney, you're right. I swear I researched this, and I guess I researched it incorrectly. So my bad. I thought I was prepared for this. I was prepared for the graphics more than I was prepared for my pick, I guess. So boy, it would be interesting though. As a default though, it's a not at the same caliber, not at the same level. But if I was going to go out there right now and add a free agent, I would still be in for David Njoku. Again, getting younger, getting a high caliber player that I think can be effective in the red zone. I think that can stretch the field a little bit more. That brings a different dynamic than what Evan Ingram brought to this team. If there's a place that I would like to upgrade, I would rather upgrade that tight end room than a lot of different other places I can see on this roster, especially when it comes to talent in the draft that's going to be a day 2, day 3, day 4 pick. So for me, I'm looking for a young burst of energy, especially when it comes to that tight end room. It can't be Adam Troutman. Adam Troutman is not the answer. Evan Ingram is showing, I think, about the max potential of what he's able to put out there on the field. And the options behind that are pretty low. You can't go out there and rely on Caleb Lohner anytime soon. So that's my thought, man.
Does Little Jordan Humphreys moving to tight end, does that interest you at all, or do you just find that meh?
I hate the idea. I mean, we hate the idea of Jonah Ellis moving around in position. Do we really want to say to Little Jordan Humphrey, go out there, put on 20 pounds, and start playing a position you haven't played before? I mean, I'd like to hear your thoughts, Jody, but maybe you're a little bit more up on it than me.
Well, I'm more if he puts the weight on it. He's already out there blocking as it is. I mean, that's basically what he does on the field is block. So, and if he can be kind of I don't know how explosive he's going to be, but if he can make some plays in the pass game, I don't think it hurts. Especially with Waddle here, it's another. He just moved down the peg on the depth chart, and he's a Sean Payton guy, so I don't hate it. I mean, I don't. It's not like you're going to win the Super Bowl because of it, but it may. He's probably a better option in the pass game than Adam Troutman.
Are you guys up for so we talked about David Njoku. Keith, does that take them out of consideration for drafting a tight end though, or is that a signing after the draft? Like they didn't get a tight end, I guess, in this scenario, your scenario.
It would probably take it off. Well, not completely off. I mean, late round flyer on somebody, but I'm not making it a priority on my draft board. That's the problem with our draft picks, gentlemen. At pick 62 being our first pick in the draft, you're going to have to be really selective of who you think could be added and participate on this roster, on this team, on the field in 2026, 2027. I think we have a very good team. I think that if you're going to beat somebody out, it's going to be very difficult. So can you get a tight end even at 62 that's going to compete and beat out Evan Ingram and Adam Troutman? I just don't see it there. So I think it pushes it way out, and then Njoku would have to be that signing instead of a pickup in the draft.
I do have a question for pick 62. If everyone keeps kind of going back to they like middle linebacker, if you draft one there, does he automatically compete for a starting role, or is he a number 3? Whether you get Jacob Rodriguez or the guy from Cincinnati or the Hill from Texas or Trouter, or
I think they compete for starting job, and you can use them in different packages. You got to get something besides Singleton. And I think with Rodriguez and Anthony Hill, those are guys that can compete for a starting job, but also can contribute year one if you need them to. So Singleton and Sternad are your starters, but if something, performance-wise, Singleton don't pan out, even Sternad, you can use one of those guys and plug and play there. You don't have to search for your next starting linebacker if something would go down or go in a bad direction. So, yeah, I think 62. I mean, that's certainly got to look at that, but maybe even looking to trade up. I mean, you have 2 4th-round picks. Could you package your, 62 in one of those fourths to move up a little bit? If one of those guys falls, I think it's, we'll see. Yet to be determined. But I'm one of those that, like, one of those linebackers starts to fall, you've got to consider moving up, I think, in the second round. And I don't think either Hill or Rodriguez will be there at 62. I don't think so at all. I think they'll go earlier.
I agree. Rodriguez, I think it would be my favorite pick around that 62, but I don't think he falls all the way to 62. I don't think anybody, if you can't hand a rookie a starter that's late second round pick. I mean, I think if you're a desperate team, maybe, but I don't think we're in a desperate situation. I think we like Singleton. Obviously, we like Sternad with bringing him back for one of those guys to be supplanted immediately as soon as he gets his jersey and he walks on stage with Roger Goodell. I don't think that happens.
Right.
One last question I want to get from Rodney. I'll go to Jody first, man. What do you think about tight end at this spot, man? Are you a proponent of tight end at 62? Do you think the draft class is deep enough to support a good candidate at the 62 spot?
Nah, not really, unless Eli Stowers is there, probably. I don't really like. I mean, it's the dude from Oregon and Stowers, and if they're gone, then it kind of, for me, falls off. And then you're in the same boat you are with the guys you have on this roster.
Trevor, we're getting a few more questions coming in. Ace Boogie's coming in over on YouTube, and he has a question. His comment is pick number 62, running back Mike Washington, Arkansas, or best defensive end available. I don't know. I'll turn that into a question as well. How do you like the defensive ends around that spot? Is there a place that Mike Washington wouldn't be picked and a defensive end would? I know you've been looking at the draft candidates a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mike Washington's actually, there's a good chance he's even gone before 62's. The Broncos are on the clock at 62. And I don't know that I believe that the Broncos are so desperate to get another running back in this room that they're going to take a back 2 years in a row in the second round. I mean, that's my biggest thing. It's like I've cooled off on them taking a running back in the second round. I think maybe in the 4th round, 5th round, we could talk about it a little bit. You got some guys that are interesting then. And again, depends on how the board kind of falls. But for me at 62, I'm starting to believe they're not going to take a running back at 62. But we'll see. And then defensive line, no, not really. I think this is a thin defensive line class. Why I had DJ Reader, it's why I had Calais Campbell, guys that are targets after the draft, possibly if they don't sign sooner, because you need to address that defensive line. You have Savion Jones and Wazirike and some of these other guys, but you need more there. You need some depth there. So I don't like, unless the defensive line, a couple guys fall. The mocks I've done and some of the players that I've done or been there when I've done mock drafts at 62. For me, defensive line is probably not the direction to go there. I like a couple of defensive linemen later, but at 62, I think it's a little rich.
I think D-line is one of the weakest in this draft besides quarterback.
It is. It is.
Very good. Listen to the experts. That will be even more experts in the near future. We'll be dropping some content. Like, share, subscribe. Paul's all in love with the tight ends at number 62. For a tight end at number 62. Paul, thanks for coming in. By the way, of course, we're about ready to get off the air, and we're all peaking as you guys are all jumping in here. We got more eyes than we've had the entire night. Thanks for everybody coming in here and getting new comments in here as well and new commenters. I wanted to throw this one to Jody just really quick because I've heard him talking about this, and then unless we have anything pressing, get your comments in. We'll get on out of here, and as long as all the rest of the guys can hang out. TW's coming in here and saying Trotter is nice too. I've heard you talking about Trotter a couple of times, both on this episode and in the back comments as well, back chats. Your thoughts on Trotter, why you like him, and why he'd be a good fit for the Denver Broncos?
I like Trotter. I like his bloodlines. But the more I watch Trotter, he is probably someone I probably am not taking at 62. He's probably someone I'm looking like maybe round 4. And if you can get him in round 4, that's what I'm doing. I'm pretty well, but I don't know. I'm just a wild card on what Denver's going to do at 62 because they just don't really have very many holes. So I think they're in a position to draft the best guy draft the guy they want. They don't have to go for value or any of that stuff. Get who you want, in my opinion. So, but Trotter, I like Trotter. He fits a need for Denver because I think that is the one spot that your depth is garbage. You don't have any depth there. Really, what do you have there? Lavelle Bailey?
I had to giggle because you're like, oh, we're sitting pretty good. We're all good. And then you're like, we have depth at that position, man.
That's the only one.
Spot.
To me, that's the only spot. I'm happy
agree
with every other spot other than our depth at middle linebacker. And I think that is part of why they're trying Jonah Ellis out there.
Fourth Horseman's kind of agreeing with you too, though, saying I think you just have to take your best player when it comes to that pick if you're sitting there at 62. Trevor, one last one for you. Vic's coming in. He says, I think we move up. What do you think, man? A lot of people, I think we move up. That's what I meant to put up there. So,
yeah, I mean, I think all options are on the table for this team. Pick it. I'll say this. This might be a hot take. Either they move up at 62 or I think they trade back from 62. I think it's pretty hard. The mock drafts I've done and the player values that are there, unless there's some player that just slips through the cracks and falls to you, which could happen. It's hard for me to just stick and pick at 62, though. I will say that. I think either you move up, you get that linebacker that you need. Rodriguez, I don't think he'll be anywhere close, but maybe Anthony Hill's there, which I'm starting to fall more and more in love with as a player, as a prospect, and potential fit for the Broncos. Or they move back and you get more picks because, like Kenny said, you have one top 100 pick, in this draft, and so that's not a lot to work with. You have 2 4th-round picks. That's pretty long to sit there from pick 62 to the 4th round to wait. And so I think you could package one of those 4th rounders along with your second to move up maybe 5 spots or so to go get a player. Is going to be a crazy move up if they move up in the 2nd round? No, but a little bit. Yeah, I think they can move up. But I also think they could trade back. I mean, and maybe get a couple top 100 picks, and the value's not there. So there's a couple different options you could really go with, though, there with Denver. I like either trading up or trading back, though. Staying put at 62. It's a little rough, I think, for me.
Yeah. I think it's always easier if you want to pay the price to move up, but you got to have the player that's going to really want to do. You really want to do that and go after a player like that, trading draft picks. That's what I'm an advocate of. Trading back, yeah, like you said, there's also got to be somebody there that somebody else just loves and you're willing to pass on, and a place where you're basically willing to add almost any position across the board because of the depth you do have, across your roster. It's going to be tough to maybe pass up on that opportunity. Gentlemen, some final thoughts, man. Fantastic episode. Great being back with you guys. I'm going to start with Jody, man. Final thoughts before we get out of here, my friend.
I've said it all along. I was in agreement with what Denver did. There was not really any massive free agents out there to go get that better than your guys. So whatever Sean Payton called it, I mean, you're running it back, and I'm fine with that. And like you said earlier, my hot take is Dobbins plays 15 or more games this year. So, and if that happens, along with Bo Nix another year and Waddle, I think this team takes the steps it needs, and I like the moves they made. I'm excited for the draft. Hopefully we can fill some depth at middle linebacker. And other than that, I'm happy where we're at. And excited for football to get here and excited to do our draft show. That's going to be a fun, 3 days. And because I hate this time of the year, I was already checking playoff standings for baseball, and we're 8 games in. So I hate this time of the year for sports. So ready for football to start.
Yes, ready for football to start when you're checking playoff standings 8 games into a baseball season. Trevor, it has been an off season that's kind of dwindled down, but behind the scenes we've been doing a lot of work, getting ready for a draft show. But and excited for that, man. Excited for all of us to join that. But man, some final thoughts from you as we wrap up this episode.
Yeah, I think for me, I was going to say this really quickly as well, and then I'll get my final thoughts in. I mean, 7 picks. The Broncos have 7 total picks right now after the post-Jalen Waddle trade. There's a couple different directions they can go. Hang on to the players. You have Marvin Mims, you have Jaquan McMillan, you have Riley Moss all on expiring contracts. Are you going to be able to pay all 3 of those guys? Probably not. So you got to ask yourself, if you're the Denver Broncos, do you hold on to all 3 of those guys and just risk losing them, getting comp picks in a couple years, whatever? Or do you move 1 or 2 of those guys and get more picks, reinvest some of that draft capital back into this year's draft, and try to get some of those guys on rookie contracts going forward? It'll be interesting. That's the biggest question for me for the Broncos going into this year, into this draft, is do they try to trade some of those guys that aren't going to be a part of this team long term to try to get more picks? We'll see. It's George Payton and Sean Payton's decision to make. I know George Payton loves those picks, but you're also trying to compete for a Super Bowl. So that's the biggest question for me for the Broncos this whole this draft period right now is, will they trade some players, proven players, for picks? It'll be interesting to see that what direction they go. Probably not going to do that, but maybe they shock us and surprise us and do that. We'll see. But no, I want to appreciate everybody in the chat tonight for hanging out with us and being active. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Graham. Well, George Payton would say something different to that. Appreciate everybody joining in on the show, whether you're watching live and after the fact. Like, share, and subscribe. Really appreciate it. And see everybody next time. Hope everybody has a great rest of your night.
Yeah, him and Sean McVay are on opposite ends of that one.
Yep. And Greg Penner too. Greg Penner wouldn't. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. They like their chances. They like their chances. I like our chances when we roll with the posse like we did tonight, Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. We go live every Wednesday, every Saturday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That'd be 10 p.m. on the East Coast. We have also the Juice that goes live 8 o'clock p.m. on Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And then we have the Pick Is In Draft Show. What is that on? That's on Sunday night.
Mock Draft Show, yep.
Pick Is In Mock Draft Show. I'm sorry. The draft show will be coming soon enough. Mock Draft Show is on Sunday nights, man. Check out Kenny and Trevor as they go through the mock drafts, man. I'll tell you what. What else are we missing? What else? Maybe some mailbox. We got breaking news stuff. There's lots of stuff, like I said. And, of course, all of us getting prepared for the draft show. 3 days of amazing fun, fantastic coverage, giveaways, lots of great stuff. Trade Moss is the ending comment of the night, as I'm seeing everyone getting ready to go. And then, of course, Phil McLaughlin coming in here and reminding me to wish everyone a very happy Easter tomorrow. Enjoy the day. Enjoy your family. Enjoy probably a ham. Like for me, it's going to be some deviled eggs as well. I think that's on most people. Some scalloped potatoes. But most importantly, those all around you. Reach out. If you're by yourself, I'll be probably on some social media as well. You're all family as well. So love you. Appreciate you. Again, thanks for everyone who comes in here, spends time with us, covering as we cover the Broncos, as we cover all the football on the Juice, as we do mock drafts, as we take it through the NFL draft. Happy Easter, everybody. Appreciate you. We do got to get out of here. I'll get out of here like we always do. Boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters, and, of course, Denver Broncos in your heart. Yes. Good night, everybody.
Happy
Thanks,
Easter.
Jody. Happy Easter, everyone.